Simple Tales presents The Hero Twins and the Lords of Death from Maya Mythology. Long ago, when the world was still young, there lived two brothers named Hunahpu and Vucub Hunahpu. They were gifted ball players and spent their days playing a sacred ball game. The sound of their game echoed across the earth. But far beneath the world lay Xibalba, the realm of death. There ruled the Lords of Death, powerful beings who delighted in suffering and deception. The noise of the brothers' ball game disturbed them. Angered, the Lords of Death sent messengers to summon the brothers to Xibalba. The brothers accepted the challenge. They descended into the underworld, where they were immediately tested. The roads of Xibalba split into many paths designed to confuse travelers. The lords sat among wooden figures made to resemble themselves. The brothers greeted the wooden statues as though they were real rulers.
The lords laughed. They had already fallen into the first trap. Many more trials followed. Each test was crafted to humiliate and destroy them. At last, the brothers were defeated. Hunahpu was sacrificed. His head was placed in the branches of a strange tree. There it became part of the tree itself. Years passed. One day, a young maiden named Xbalanque walked beneath the tree. She was the daughter of one of the underworld lords. Curious, she approached the unusual fruit. Suddenly, the skull of Hunahpu spoke. The maiden listened in wonder. Then the skull spat into her hand. Though it seemed impossible, this act caused her to conceive children. When her condition became known, the Lords of Death demanded her execution. But Xbalanque escaped and fled to the world above. There she found the mother of Hunahpu and eventually gave birth to twin sons. The twins were named Hunahpu and Xbalanque. From childhood, they were clever, courageous, and unusually gifted. Yet they knew little about their father's fate. As they grew older, they discovered the ball-playing equipment that had once belonged to him. They learned the story of the father they had never met. Determined to honor his memory, they began playing the sacred ball game themselves. Soon the sound of the game reached Xibalba. The Lords of Death remembered the brothers they had defeated long ago. Once again, messengers were sent. Once again, a challenge was issued. This time, however, the summons was answered by the hero twins. The twins understood that the Lords of Death relied on trickery. As they descended into Xibalba, they remained alert.
When they arrived at the first court, they recognized the wooden statues immediately and greeted the true rulers instead. The lords frowned. Their first trap had failed. Next, the twins were ordered to sit upon a bench, but they realized it was a burning stone heated from below. Instead of sitting, they remained standing. Again, the lords were frustrated. The hero twins continued through one deadly challenge after another. They survived the House of Darkness, where travelers were expected to spend the night without light. They survived the House of Knives, filled with blades that moved on their own. They survived the House of Cold, where freezing winds could kill. They survived the House of Jaguars, where hungry beasts prowled in the darkness. They survived the House of Fire, where flames surrounded them from every side. Each challenge demanded not only bravery, but intelligence.
Again and again, the twins relied on wit rather than strength. The Lords of Death became increasingly determined to destroy them. Eventually, they arranged a ball game designed as a final trap. The twins played skillfully, but the rulers of Xibalba continued inventing new ways to defeat them. At one point, Hunahpu was killed and decapitated. The lords believed victory was finally theirs. But Xbalanque remained calm. With the help of clever allies, he recovered his brother. Through magic and ingenuity, Hunahpu was restored to life. The twins continued their struggle. At last, they realized that defeating the Lords of Death would require more than surviving traps. They would have to outwit death itself. The twins disguised themselves as wandering performers. Traveling through Xibalba, they amazed everyone with miraculous feats. They appeared to sacrifice one another and then return each other to life. The lords watched in fascination. Never had they seen such wonders. Soon, the rulers demanded a demonstration. The twins agreed. Before the gathered court, they performed their tricks. Finally, the lords themselves requested to take part. One by one, the twins sacrificed the rulers of Xibalba. The lords waited confidently for resurrection. But this time, it never came. The powers that had ruled the underworld for ages were broken. The Lords of Death had been defeated by their own arrogance. With their victory complete, the hero twins searched for their father. They found the remains of Hunahpu and honored his memory. Though he could not fully return to the world of the living, his story was no longer one of defeat. His sons had completed what he could not. Order was restored. The suffering imposed by the Lords of Death was greatly diminished. According to Maya tradition, the hero twins eventually rose into the heavens. Some say one became the sun, the other became the moon. Others tell the story differently, but all agree that their deeds transformed the world forever. The hero twins did not triumph because they were the strongest warriors. Again and again, they faced enemies more powerful than themselves. What allowed them to succeed was their ability to learn from the failures of those who came before them. Where their father had fallen into traps, they remained observant. Where others relied on force, they relied on wisdom. Their story reminds us that courage and intelligence together
can overcome challenges that neither could conquer alone. If you enjoyed this tale, please like, subscribe, and share Simple Tales. There are many more legends waiting to be told.